UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones fired back at his critics on social media, saying, "Your priorities are in the wrong place." Jones was arrested on domestic battery charges back in September following the UFC Hall of Fame ceremony. Since then, Jones has been kicked out of Team Jackson Wink and has been seen training at Fight Ready in Arizona. Jones is one of the best fighters in MMA history, but he has come under fire following this latest incident and his reaction to it. Taking to his social media, Jones fires back at his critics, saying they should worry about themselves. He had the following to say: "If you're still talking about what happened in Las Vegas, but you're living at your mom's house, your priorities are in the wrong place, my friend. You over there focusing on another man's troubles. I'm over here focusing on getting further ahead of you. I'm talking about you losers out there. Very rarely do happy or successful people take time out of their day to harass others on the internet." The initial reactions to Jones's comments in the replies are mostly negative from fans, many of whom felt that Jones shouldn't have made this tweet considering the allegations against him. Of course, this is far from the first time that Jones has gotten into trouble with the law. At this point, it feels like this has become a pattern with the former UFC champion. He is one of the greatest fighters to ever live, but he has some demons he needs to deal with. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, Chael Sonnen reacted to Frankie Edgar's loss to Marlon Vera at UFC 268, stating that Frankie Edgar won every minute of that fight, except for 1 second. During the latest episode of the Weighing In podcast, Big John McCarthy reacted to Chael. He had the following to say: "I mean, listen, I love me some Chael, but he has lost his mind. I look at it, and to me, it's comments like that from Chael where I just think, why are you saying that? That's just not true. I thought Frankie won the first round, but after that, he lost just about every second of that fight. And he had his little moments, but it's like, I would rather someone be honest with Frankie and say, hey man, you have been unbelievable in this sport. You are the representative of this sport in a way that if I was looking to try and show someone what the sport is about, I would point to you. You're that kind of guy. You have been that special fighter, that special class, an ambassador to the sport. You are someone that I want to hold up and put on a pedestal so people can see what we're about. I don't want to see you take damage. I don't want to see you taking abuse and fighting guys that there's no reason to fight, because if I'm being honest at this point, it's almost like the famous Joe Rogan, Brendan Schaub clip. There's no title shot. It's not going to happen. You're not in that mix, especially at 135 pounds, a weight class that we look at and say, that's the best overall weight class in the sport right now. UFC welterweight contender Gilbert Burns is open to fighting anyone, but he says that Colby Covington and Khamzat Chimaev top the list. Burns is the number 2 ranked welterweight in the UFC, so it's natural that he is connected to fights with the other top fighters in the division. On Sunday, reports emerged that Burns could be matched up against Chimaev sometime in 2022, though that fight is far from a done deal. Speaking to MMAJunkie.com in a recent interview, Burns was asked what he wants next. As far as Burns goes, he is down to fight anyone that the UFC offers him, but if he had to choose someone in particular, it would be either Covington or Chimaev next. For Colby, the perfect fight would be me. That's the fight I want. He knows that I want it. But when it's the time to call out a guy, when it's time to pick an opponent, they don't pick me. I think they know why. Leon never says my name. Colby never says my name. Masvidal never says my name. It's for a reason, and they know why. I do know I lost that title fight, but I've been doing a lot of great things in that division, and they know that. So that's what I'm looking at. I'll be ready. Colby, Masvidal, Leon, even Khamzat in the future. That's a great option for me. I never say no to a fight. I still believe Khamzat has got to do a little bit more work, but I'm still open to fight any one of these guys. UFC lightweight champion Charles Oliveira says that he has way more weapons than rival Dustin Poirier ahead of their UFC 269 title fight. Oliveira steps into the octagon next month on December 11th when he meets Poirier in the headliner of UFC 269. For Oliveira, this marks his first title defense since winning the vacant belt over Michael Chandler back at UFC 262 in May, while for Poirier, he is getting this title shot following back-to-back stoppage wins over Conor McGregor. It's expected to be an awesome matchup for as long as it lasts, but Oliveira is confident he will prevail. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Oliveira explained why he is such a bad matchup for Poirier, suggesting that he has more weapons than Dustin. On December 11th, we'll be there to prove who's best and who's not the best. There's not much to say. We'll only know when we face each other. I trust myself. I believe myself. I think I have way more weapons than him. All you guys that think he's number one, watch his last fight and watch my last fight. See what I'm good at and what he's good at, and match it all up to see what happens. Strikers took him down way too easily, and you know what happens if I take him down. If he trades on the feet with me, you know I'm hitting hard, brother. It will be fire on the 11th. I have firepower in my hands. I have my jiu-jitsu. I respect him a lot, but I want to remain champion. I want to keep this belt here. I couldn't care less what others say about me.